What is happening, J Gamer Dude here? Let's talk about a menace of society, a menace of gaming society, some might say. Who am I kidding? Not some, everyone is going to say. Let's talk about Denuvo DRM. But hey, before I get into details, just wanted to say, if you like my videos, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Doing all of that and commenting below, of course, will help put my videos into the algorithm. And hopefully more people will, start picking up and watching the video. Now, with that being said, let's talk about Denuvo DRM. So for those of you guys that don't already know, a Denuvo DRM is a DRM solution, or a digital rights management solution, that is pretty much intended to stop people from being able to crack games. Pretty much the basic idea is that because pretty much on PC, it's just digital storefronts. Like, you don't get physical PC games anymore like they used to be on DVDs. Now that you've got stuff like Steam, you've got Epic Game Store, you've got GOG, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. With all of this, being said and done, in order to protect games, what publishers and developers, though I think mostly publishers at this point, are doing is they're putting DRM protections to be able to protect games from being copied and given to other people without them having to actually pay for the game. Pretty much from the perspective of a publisher, it's to stop piracy. So with that being said, Denuvo is one of the worst ones out there. While all DRM is bad to some extent, Denuvo is particularly bad for the fact that it affects the actual way that the game runs. Pretty much, when games have Denuvo DRM, they mostly tend to work poorly, or they don't run as well as games that have, games that are being played by people who have already cracked the game. And Denuvo have had a pretty bad PR pretty much for the longest time, and continue to have bad PR even to this day. So they're like, okay, let's try and get into the good graces of people. So by and large, PC gamers hate Denuvo. That is pretty much just done and dusted. The controversial DRM software has become the industry standard for anti-piracy protection. However, they're trying to lead into like a big PR campaign in order to try and get into pretty much the gamer's good graces, so to speak. He proceeds to then say, I'm a gamer myself, and therefore I know what I am talking about. I think it's super hard to see as a gamer what the immediate benefit for me that a certain game developer, game publisher is using our anti-piracy services. This gap, coupled with the fact that Denuvo simply works and pirates cannot play games which use it, as Ullman puts it, are two main contributors to its negative reputation, he argues. Now, to completely put a full stop on his statement, games do take longer to crack, but they can be done within the day of release more often than not. So yes, it is preventing people from being able to crack the game sooner so that they can give the game to other people, or put the download up for other people to then be able to install on their own machines and then play without having to pay any sort of money. But what's one day of protection for the amount of money that companies have to pay in order to even get their protection? And so they've tried to do a few different things, like this interview that was done with Rock Paper Shotgun. And of course, as I've said, people who actually pay for the game and download it legitimately have a poorer experience because the game runs worse. It doesn't run as well as people intend it to. And the fact of the matter is that Denuvo did in fact challenge, Digital Foundry to check games out, but on Denuvo's terms. And I feel like no matter what, Denuvo is in a lose-lose situation. Because if, say for example, Digital Foundry did find that there were no problems, it could be seen as like Denuvo trying to buy or to pay Digital Foundry to actually, put them in a positive light. But if Digital Foundry did find something negative about it, then that would make Denuvo look even worse. Among other things that Denuvo has actually tried to do, they tried to create a Discord channel for players to reach out and talk to people behind the DRM. And because of how universally despised Denuvo is, that did not go well at all, as you could probably imagine. I have checked it out myself, and oof. So, PR is already in the gutter because people hate Denuvo due to how it affects performance of games on PC. The fact that cracking games has technically been made more difficult, but still within 24 to 48 hours, games are usually cracked and Denuvo removed completely. Denuvo has blamed developers for implementing DRM really poorly, like say for example what happened with Tekken on PC, for example. But then what made Denuvo look even worse is the fact that, and this is pretty much where I feel like your company can't possibly look any worse, is this paragraph right here. We're reaching the point where even major publishers are ditching Denuvo as a quick PR win, as just last week it was announced that Dragon Age the Veilguard was going without DRM because, quote, "we trust you." If even EA going for the anti-Denuvo PR buff, I'm not sure how this whole Denuvo Redemption Tour is going to win in the end. And it's then important to note places like GOG, because as I mentioned earlier, you know, you've got a handful of digital storefronts on the PC side. Obviously 99% of people generally will go to Steam. A handful of maybe 0.2% will go to I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass, but pretty much, just to put into perspective, a significant majority of people are going to go to Steam. Some very small, minute groups of individuals may actually go to the Epic Games Store to some extent. But with GOG, on the other hand, GOG presents themselves as the anti-DRM solution. They do not have any sort of DRM in their games. They will sell you a game and you have the installer on you. So if you delete the installer, you no longer have the game, because why on earth did you do that, type of thing. But it still doesn't change matters that GOG has that advantage over Steam, albeit that people still prefer Steam because massive giant library, a hell of a lot of discounts, and also the games are always a hell of a lot cheaper. Though, with all of that being said, I also am very hesitant to see how on earth this could ever benefit Denuvo in any way, shape or form, given everything that I've talked about, whether it be it affecting the actual performance of games, the fact that everyone widely is aware that Denuvo cannot be trusted in this way in any way, shape or form, the fact that Denuvo is under fire even under their own terms on their own Discord, because mods just aren't able to handle that. You know how on fire their Discord is more often than not, having gone in and actually had a look at it myself. Also the fact that EA, a massive publisher, is foregoing Denuvo altogether as well. It really does make me wonder how Denuvo expected things were going to go ultimately in the end. You know, it really is just anyone's guess by all accounts. So I wonder if Denuvo is going to try and continue to parade around and think that people are going to listen. But with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 400 subs in the not too distant future. And with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.